Okay, as promised, time for the Pyroraptor, arriving one day after the other figure. Yeah, another small figure, of course, same deal. I'm curious of how much this sculpt is going to differ from the other small raptors. Obviously, it's feathered, so it's got to be different, right? But I'm curious if we'll see much difference in like the feet and stuff like that. Um, at a glance, really hard to say actually. Let me pull them out here. Okay, actually, let me also get some more lights on. All right, here he is, or she, I guess, removed from the package. I'll say that the colorization makes me think male, but that's just because you associate gaudier colors with males. Um, so the sculpt design here is very similar to the other raptors. We've got, you know, elbow joint, knee joint, ankle joint, and then you've got this permanent, L-shaped leg piece here that limits posability. Um, Jaw opens. The neck. Interestingly, the neck is different. So we saw that the new Raptor sculpt has that hinge neck. This doesn't have that. This neck appears to be just like a single kind of swivel piece without much mobility at the base, and then the head at the top just kind of twists. So pretty limited compared to the regular Raptor in that regard. One thing I notice here is the arms are weird. Look at this. Look at that joint. What the fuck is going on there? It looks like it's gonna just disintegrate and rip off. There's like nothing holding that together. That might be a legitimate manufacturing defect. It's really hard to say. I can't do much with this arm. Like, both of the arms barely move. There's like nothing holding them together at that joint. That's really weird. I don't know why it's designed that way. It looks really bad, actually. The design of the hands is also very weird. You could see there underneath. See if we can get this to focus. So we got the first two fingers with painted claws. Then the other finger is molded into the underside of the wing and not painted. And there's a feather that juts between the other two fingers, which looks really weird because it's actually hard to tell which one's the finger at first glance. Um, Very strange. Glass eyes. Let me get a little hand light here. Yeah, these glass eyes are very dark and murky. Like I even with the direct light from my phone, it's really hard to pick out any detail in that eye. I can see that there's a slit pupil, but like it's black on like dark gray. It's really hard to like see much of anything from that. Other than the arms and like that, the paint job looks pretty nice. Like the red is very cool. Get the tail attached in here. Okay, tail is not exactly behaving at first attempt. I'm a little, there we go, trying to not put pressure anywhere near the arms because I don't trust them at all. Now there's the full length of him with the tail attached. The tail has, the nice tail fin at the end, but it's very like compressed, right? It looks like the feathers are all kind of wilted together. Um, it's not very expressive. It's It's kind of drooping. On the underside, you can see like the naked part of the tail. The Pyroraptor does have this like weird kind of cloaked vibe in the film where the feathers really do feel like they're just kind of draped over the top of it, which is a strange design choice. Maybe it's just me, but the legs feel kind of short compared to how big the arms are with those feathered portions. Like, you can almost just put this in like a quadrupedal stance because of the size of the arms, which is a little weird. Tail does have a bendy wire in it, so you can do some posing. Again, like a lot of the other smaller scale figures, there's a pretty limited part of the tail that actually has that wire there, limiting a little bit what you can do with it. His feet might be... So the feet of the Pyroraptor, at least in some shots or in some like behind the scenes stuff maybe, if not the film itself, look vaguely webbed. So there might be a little bit of that in here with like the not like chunkiness of the feet, but like the feet are kind of splayed, maybe you would say. They're a little thick side to side. So maybe that's supposed to be capturing that. Seems fine. Balance seems fine. Let's compare to some material here, maybe. So let's look at a render. So this is a Pyroraptor render. So yeah, the color palette's essentially right. The feathers being molded into the body means you don't really get a good sense of it being shaggy on the body. You can see here the kind of the thickness of the toes, which I think the figure does kind of at least try to capture. The eye here looks gold, so I don't know if the one in the film looks gray and the render looks gold, or if it's just a weird decision to make the eye not stand out. He does have like some feathering kind of on his cheeks, if you want to call it that, which you can see kind of on the figure. There's like a little triangular, extension coming off of the jaw there. Yeah, I think you could see it best from below, right? Which is definitely, it's feathers. It shows it's molded as feathers. So they've got that like aspect of it captured. So that's cool. I don't think this render gives us the best look at the tail, but I mean, it does show that the tail should have like gray feathers the whole length. And there's like a little bit of that, but not much. And then you get the whiter feathers down at the tip, but it kind of seems like it really should have that going most of the length of the tail if you judge it by the render. What else? Yeah, naked face, that's basically captured on the figure. You get the double, kind of the double ridged on the spots on the head. So there's like the raised nose bit and then the eye socket bit. So it gives this, double bumps on the head. So that's captured on the figure. Similar to a lot of the Raptor designs in the franchise, of course. If we look at some actual shots from the film, here's a behind shot. Really illustrating how the feathers really look like a cloak draped over the animal from behind. Which, yeah, the feathers, like the toy doesn't really capture that. But I don't know how it would. Actually, I think this shot here from behind looks really fucking awkward. I think just this, like, the way the feathers are draped across the animal just doesn't look natural. It looks like he's walking around with, like, a blanket on or something. It's very strange. I think the figure looks more natural, ironically, because it's, like, it doesn't have that distinctive, like, overhang, right, that you see on the thigh of the animal in the film. And the fucking ice cream truck is here. Can you hear that? Okay, it looks like a mic doesn't pick it up when I'm not talking, but you probably hear in the background I'm talking. We'll power through the fucking ice cream truck, dude. All right. But you can also see that there's like pretty long feathers hanging off the tail, which is missing here on this figure too. So Goddamn fucking ice cream truck. It's gonna be here for like 20 minutes too. Here's a shot from the front again. Gold eye. I guess the eye on the figure does have a little hint of orange to it, but like, oh, if you catch it just right in the light, from like an angle where you kind of shine the light into the eye socket, you could see the orangeness, but it's not very good. I don't think I can actually like even begin to get that on film. No, it's just gonna wash everything out. Looking at it from the front angle, I mean the head is pretty wide in Dominion. I would say that the feather coming off the front view of the figure, like if you try to recreate this like 3/4 view sorta, the feather head crest is pretty big proportionally compared to the size of the head versus what's in the film. Is that borne out by the render here? Nope, can't tell. Yeah, I mean like if you look at it from the back, it's really more of like a multiple feather crest and not like a singular spike like the figure. So that you kind of get that different vibe there. Yeah, same here where you can see all the different feathers. So the figure doesn't really capture the feather crest exactly correctly. Which is, again, is probably understandable given the scale. What else? Yeah, you can also see here a lot of feathers coming off the tail on the side. Is that captured in frame on the video? Not really. Hold on. Let me slide it over. Oh, yeah, actually, there's just a good shot in general of the entire tail. So you could see that the tail actually is pretty wide, like the whole length. It's not just a slightly feathered, like, regular dinosaur tail with a fan at the end. It's got feathers on the side and then bigger fan of feathers at the end. And that's very different than what the tail is here, like, substantially. Yeah. So not the most accurate rendition of the Pyroraptor, but I also think it's probably an animal that's really hard to get a figure made correctly for. Like, how do you actually accurately capture this? Let's think about ranking this. I'm gonna go throw rocks at the ice cream truck. Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna clock to finish up this video, so I can't wait for the fucking truck to leave. Oh god, it's leaving. It's moving further down in the apartment complex. Thank fuck for that. I gave it as long as I was willing to, and apparently it paid off. I think this is a pretty mid figure. Accuracy is not the best. It's better than your typical Pyroraptor that Mattel does, but still feels off. I'm genuinely very concerned about the arms. They really feel like they're just gonna fucking break and fall off, and I really don't like it aesthetically and functionally, right? The really weak looking elbow joints look bad and feel bad. Yeah, I'm like afraid to fucking like touch these. Yeah, I think that damages the figure for me actually quite a bit because I'm afraid to fucking touch it. I do like the colors of the Pyroraptor. The aesthetic overall is a little eh. For a figure, it's kind of nice. My feeling is I put it maybe behind the other new Raptors. I'm gonna put it ahead of Blue because Blue's paint job really ruins her too. Yeah, I think Pyroraptor and Delta both slot right next to each other overall. I thought the Pyroraptor would be higher, but having it in hand, I have some concerns. So we're gonna stick it there. This makes B tier the most populous tier now, which is probably what it should be, being like the middle tier, right? Just logically speaking. Does mean that now the baby Stego is buried completely behind the camera, but that's what you're gonna do, right? Well, here, we'll shrink this down now. Here's a full shot of the tier list and all of its tiered glory. So this would make Pachycephalosaurus the highest quality base scale figure, followed by Dilo and Galley. I I think that still feels accurate to me. It's a pretty damn good Pachycephalosaurus. Most accurate one out of those small figures too. The Dilo's solid, but not terribly accurate. The Galley is a really fun figure, but very inaccurate. I like that Galley figure. I was really harsh on it for being like the wrong fucking Gallimimus, which it still is. That's fine. We'll leave it there. That seems accurate. Dimetrodon ahead of the Raptors. Seems good. Yeah, and if we get a Raptor figure that I actually really like the paint job on with a new, better sculpt, then that could easily slide ahead of the Dimetrodon. Maybe even slide up to A tier, honestly. Yeah, okay. Let's send this one here then before the fucking ice cream truck comes back. I hear it. I hear it. I hear the harbinger of doom coming.